because Barry Gardner is here, and he will. Yeah. Somebody's going to get you some water if you would like a drink. So Barry Gardner is, as I have said already, but he's the Ed Miliband's Special Envoy on Climate Change and the Environment, and he's also on the Parliamentary Select Committee on the Environment and Energy and Climate Change. So I've got a number of questions. Would you like to speak for a few minutes and then I'll put the questions to you? Would that be the best way to do it? Yeah, okay.
Great. Look, you asked me to speak about the energy bill.
Right.
What I want...
Close to the mic.
Get close to the mic. There we are. Let me put that down on the magic box. There we are. I think the important thing is to understand that what's needed is not simply a bill, it's a comprehensive energy policy. And at the moment, that really is up for grabs. It doesn't seem that we do have a comprehensive energy policy. But let me deal with some of the issues arising out of the bill. The bill essentially is not an energy bill, it's a financial services bill. What it seeks to do is to enable energy companies to be able to provide financing in order to make insulation, essentially insulation, changes to people's homes in order that they can save money on their bills. And the saving that they make would then go to pay off the finance that has been borrowed from the energy company, using them almost as a financial services mechanism. Insofar as it tries to do that, that's good. But one has to see whether actually the sort of way in which that's been put into effect through the bill is going to be effective. And the trouble here is that there are likely to be interest rates on the repayments that could be as high as 9 or 10%. Some have even said 11%. And certainly the studies that have been done have shown that as those interest payments rise, people are going to be less disposed to make the changes that they need in order to make the savings on their energy bill. Because over a long period of time, they won't see any change in their financial circumstances. All they'll be doing is changing their energy usage. At the moment, if you are a householder that owns their own property, it's very easy for you to be able to put the costs of doing such changes, insulation, onto your own mortgage at effectively half the interest rate that is being offered under the Green Deal. And yet people are not doing that. So it's difficult to see why their behavior is going to change substantially by bringing in this new facility. And that, I think, is part of the problem here in terms of the way in which this has been structured. There are real problems also in terms of the way in which the bill reaches out to the fuel poor, in that most of the fuel poor in this country, or many of them, are living in the private rented sector. And as we know, if you look at the emissions that our country has, then about 40%, just over 40% of those emissions comes from housing, and about 26% is within the private rented sector. Now, those people are disproportionately in buildings that are difficult to heat. They're disproportionately people who are likely to be fuel poor. That is, they're spending more than 10% of their income on their heating. And the provisions in this bill really, at the moment, don't go far enough, and they don't go fast enough. Because what we need to see is greater powers in the bill to compel landlords to make changes to the property, to insulate their properties, to make energy efficiency savings in their properties that are going to benefit those tenants. But of course, landlords don't have that incentive because they will not benefit from the cheaper fuel bills. It will be the tenants who are benefiting from those cheaper fuel bills. And the powers that the government has in this area, they're really putting out to the long grass. It's 2014 and 2015 that they're looking to conducting a review by 2014, and perhaps then taking powers thereafter, both to allow tenants to request that improvements to the insulation be made, and ultimately through local authorities perhaps to compel landlords to carry out work to properties that are band F and G. Now really, if you look at the need that we have in the country, it's to have an integrated strategy that is going to bring the points in terms of your energy efficiency up to about 70 by 2020, if that's going to tie in with what the Climate Change Committee has said. At the moment, our points level is down at 53 or 54. It was 53 in 2010, so I imagine it's moved slightly up since then, but about 54 would be the average. Now, that's been a substantial improvement over the past 5 years. It's gone 1.5 times in the past 5 years. You've seen in this 14-year period an 11-point rise. And that's been getting faster and faster all the time by about 150% every 5 years. But you'll see that between now and 2020, over the next decade, to pull that from 53 or 54 points, where it is at present, to 70 points, which would be the equivalent of a band-rated C property, is really very, very ambitious indeed. And if we're going to delay any definitive action till 2015 and beyond, compelling landlords to make these changes, it's going to be impossible. Sorry.
Yeah, I know we did ask Barry to speak about the energy bill, but there are also quite a lot of questions. So if we can move on, and some of them